Hey team Herbalife, it's President's team member Rob Walsh with a specialized coaching module. How do you like the sound of that? These modules are designed to help you in specific areas of the business that you don't generally get at STSs or our webinars and so forth. So we can bring it down to a real fine focus and help you really get good at this particular area. And the area I'm going to be talking to you about today and sharing with you was so instrumental in me getting off to a fast start, I can't tell you, right? And yet so many people overlook it, but it's something that we all do anyway. So this is something that will really help you and will really help you to help your people, because I want you to grasp the concepts of what I'm going to be talking about here, okay? Let's just look at situations in our life, events, okay? If we have a birthday party for yourself or maybe your kids or whatever, what do? You make a list and you send out invitations, okay? If you're going to get married, what do? You sit down with your partner and you make a list of the people that both sides of the family want at the wedding, and then you go through and you weed it out, okay? And you say, well, look, we can only have 80. We got 150 names here. We got to, whittle it down a little bit, okay? And then you invite those people, okay? So making a list to work from is something that we all do. We work from shopping lists. We make little notes for ourselves, little reminders. Electronically today, if you're using Siri or Google Assistant, you can use your smartphone to actually make the notes for you and to remind you, okay? So this is something that we already do. And one of the things that we encourage everybody to do, in fact, it's Herbalife 101, is to make a list of people that you know, okay? Now, I want to share with you what Gary did with me back in December of 1991. Now, don't laugh. I know there's some people listening to that saying, what? Wait a minute. I wasn't even born then. Well, I've been around a while, okay? But Gary said to me, look, he said, there's several ways to do the business. And I was time poor. I didn't have time to do flyers. I didn't have time to run an ad, and I didn't have money to run an ad. And if I had run an ad, I couldn't answer the phone and take the ad calls, okay? And he said, well, let's do some headhunting, okay? So I said, that sounds great. So he said to me, go home and make a list of who you know. Make a list of who you know. And I said, what do you mean? And he said, what do you mean? What do I mean? Go home and make a list of people that you know. So I did, and I went home that night, and I actually got a book, and you know what? I can't find it, but I've got something that's almost as good. And I went home and made a list of people that I knew. Now, the important thing was, I wasn't trying to think so much of people that I thought would want to buy our Herbalife products. And I was trying not to think of the people that I thought would want to do the business. But you know what happened? We're only human, right? And I started to think that way. But nevertheless, I came up with 82 names on my list. And that's significant. And you'll learn why in just a moment, okay? So I went back to Gary, and Gary said, well, listen, this list is really great, Rob. He said, most people come back and they've only got 2 or 3 or 4 names, maybe 10 at the outside. He said, this is really great. And then he said to me, do you remember where you were working 10 years ago? Now, I want you to think about this exercise. It's important. And I want you also to master this question and ask your people, where were you working 10 years ago, Rob? I said, well, I was working in Melbourne. He said, where in Melbourne? I said, in Queen Street. He said, do you remember the number? I said, yeah, it was 150 Queen. It was a company called Joppa Murphy Taylor. I was an insurance broker. He says, oh, great. He said, did you have your own office? I said, yeah, I did. He said, did you have an office on your left-hand side? I said, yes, I did. He said, who was in that office? And I went, a guy called John Joyner. Gary goes, great. Did you have an office on the right? I said, yes, I did. He goes, well, who was in that? Straight away, David Lovehead. He said, did you have a receptionist? I said, yeah, we did. Her name was Baz, a Polish girl, and I'll never forget Baz. She was gorgeous. And Gary goes, wow, you got a really good memory, man. I said, well, thank you. He said, are these guys on your list? And I said, no, they're not. He goes, why not? You know them. And now I know what Gary was doing with me, okay? He was teaching me not to prejudge. The question was, who do you know, right? So I went back and I started to think of other names and guys, girls, honestly, I went back to my primary school writing down names. One of the guys in fifth grade I was a friend with, and he moved away. I went to tech school, he went to high school. His name was Ken Zimmer, and I hadn't seen him since high school days, you know, but I put him on the list, okay? So when I went back to Gary, I had probably 200 names, okay? And he said, okay, now we're going to qualify them. Now, I'm going to show you what he showed me, okay? Now, you can do this, and you can teach this, because it's real simple. He said, the first thing we want to do with this list is qualify it. Qualify the list, okay? And he said, just run through the list, and the first thing is, when you come to a name, the first question you've got to ask is, can I contact this person? Well, Ken Zimmer obviously was not one of those people. He said, but if you can contact them, give them a tick, all right? So I'm just going to give a tick here, and you'll see what I mean, okay? Now, he said the second thing you do, you go past again, and you give them another tick if there's any reason that you know of that you think you could help them with the product. Now, this is, of course, as a result of reading the testimonials, which you guys all need to do, okay, and get all your guys to do as part of their setup process so they can learn what the products can do for people. Not what it is. The scientists look after that. But what it can do for people. That's what we have to know. How we can help people with the product, not how it works inside. That's for the scientists and the Nobel Prize winning doctors and the PhDs and so forth, okay? So 2 ticks, okay? And he said pass over it again, a third sweep, and this time look at the names and are they the kind of person you want to have on your team? Could they bring some assets and strength to your team? Could they help you recruit and build and develop your organization? Do you like them? Are they upwardly mobile? Are they ambitious? Do they have good skills and attitudes and disciplines? Such like things. He said, if you know that about them, give them another tick. So what happened was, okay, I went through my list, and here's what happened. Now, this is not the list I had because I can't find that book. But have a look at that. This is a list of names, okay, and you can see there I've got 3 ticks, okay, because I could contact this guy, I believed I could help him with the products, and I knew he'd be great in the business if he could see it like I saw it. So I went through my list, all those names, a couple of hundred names, and this was my short list. This is actually my book. Okay, you see this? I've still got the exercise book. I don't know if you can see it there. It says Organizational Planner, Rob Walsh, right? And look, the pages are all yellow, yuck, right? But these are the people I wanted to go for quickly, okay? And then I've got other people over here as well, okay? Now, I'd already done the exercise, 1 tick, 2 ticks, 3 ticks. And then what I did, obviously, the person with no ticks, well, you put them to the side. The person with 1 tick, okay, you get to them. The people with 2 ticks, great, that's your fallback list. But the people with 3 ticks are the people you want to contact immediately, okay? And so that's what I said about doing. So with Gary's help, and you can do this with your coach, and you can help your people do this with you, because you're the coach, I figured out what I was going to say, okay? Well, at least I figured out what I thought I was going to say, okay, to these people. And Gary helped me with that, okay? And I started to reach out to make appointments to expose people to what we were doing. Now, back then, there was only one way to expose people to what we were doing. Guess what that was? Face-to-face. Okay? No mobile phone. Look, I've got 3 of them on my desk right here. 1, 2, 3. I've got 3 mobile phones, okay? I'm not running a book, by the way, okay? But there was none of that. No social media, no email, no nothing. So the only way to expose people to what we were doing was to go face-to-face. So I made appointments for these people to talk with Gary and myself, and that's how I got my on-the-job training. Gary did the talking, I did the listening, And I thought to myself, wow, he's just telling them the same stuff over and over and over. Okay? Now, that exercise I did ended up this way. Out of 10 face-to-face presentations of what we were doing, where we were going and why we were going to go there, okay, over a 2-day span of time, a Wednesday and a Thursday, I got 9 people to sit down with Gary. Out of the 9 that sat down with Gary, 2 said thank you, but no thank you. All the best, not for us. Another 2 said, look, the business, no, we're really not interested in the business, but I love the sound of your product. And I got 2 extra clients out of that. The other 5 got started, and one of them in particular was absolutely on the same page as Gary and myself and wanted to build an organization quickly, okay? Now, in case you're wondering whether or not it's worth your while to sit down and do this yourself or to help your people do it, so now they've got, going back to the wedding, who are you going to invite? And you've got to remember, even though you invite people to the wedding, some people aren't going to come to your wedding. I'm sorry. You know, they're going to be somewhere else or they can't make it or something happens, right? However, here's what's a result of that original list coming down to this list here with the 3 ticks on it, right? I've got business today with Christy in Indonesia. And by the way, if you look there, third from the bottom, okay, Christy English, before she became Christy Walsh, okay? Our Indonesian business came from a guy off this list, okay? Our Indian business came from a guy off this list. Our New Zealand business came from a guy on this list, down through Mandy Halligan. Lee Hilda, all that business down that line, came from somebody on this list. All of our business in Australia largely has come from people on this list. So, when we say make a list of who you know, it's to give you something to work from, just like you would do at the wedding, okay? Now, the thing is this, all we want to do is invite those people to take a look at what we're doing, because we don't have to convince anybody. I mean, I didn't need convincing to do Herbalife, did you? Did you have to get, put in a corner and the thumb screws on, right? Okay, I'll do it, right? No, we saw it. And the business of showing people what we're about is to sort out the people who don't see it from the people who do see it. And then they are like us, and now we teach them how to achieve their goals through Herbalife, okay? Jim Rohn said this, you can't say the wrong thing to the right person, and you can't say the right thing to the wrong person. All we have to do is say it, and then the result of that is up to them. So there's no begging allowed. Mark Hughes used to say that. We have got the deal of the century here. I mean, think about this for a second. We offer that you will get in the best shape of your life and be able to maintain it, and you get an opportunity to increase your income and your lifestyle and your freedom, not by percentiles, but by multiples. And we're a little bit funny about talking to people. But here's the good news. The people that you know, if you approach it that way, it will enhance your relationship, because whether they get involved with us now or not, down the track they will. Because some of the people I spoke to here, there's a guy here, Dean Thurley, you might see there. Where is it? Dean Thurley said that, pitched, not interested. 7 months later, he came back and he got started, okay? And through that, we got our Indian business. How about that? He wasn't interested. He came back later on, and he certainly was when he saw it was working, okay? So, guys, this concludes the specialized coaching on the list, okay? Who do you know? Who do you know on the planet? And don't do this, oh, well, I just moved here, I don't know anybody. Just because you moved here doesn't mean you unknow everybody that you met in your life. I mean, you ask a little 5-year-old child how many people that they know, and if you prompt them, their uncles, their aunts, their brothers, their sisters, their grandparents, right? The kids in the street, the kids at school, the teachers, the guy that cuts the grass. Okay, a 5 or a 6-year-old child could probably nail down, who knows, 50, 60, 100 names. So don't be that person, I don't know anybody. Expand your mind, let yourself free, and just start writing down, who do I know? Who do I know? And then we qualify it. 1 tick, are they accessible? 2 ticks, is there any reason that I know of as a result of going through all those testimonials, which you can get on the Dropbox link? Okay, is there any reason I know of that can help with the product? Give them a tick. And number 3, are they the kind of person I'd like to have on my team? Do I like them? Can they bring some assets and some skills and some know-how to the business? Can they help me recruit and build the organization I want to build to go out there and serve people who need the solutions that we offer? Okay, if you do that, now you've got a great list of people to work from, and you develop your invitation accordingly. And just one last thing. Before I spoke to every person that I was going to speak to, I spoke to Gary about that person. And that helped me formulate a mental picture of them and what I was going to say to them to do the best I could do to get them to just sit down and take a look and check it out. Okay? And as a result of that, here we are today. Guys and girls, thanks very much for watching. I hope you took some good notes. And the most important thing is to put this into action immediately. Okay, Rob Walsh signing out. Take care, guys. We'll catch you soon. Have a healthy, happy day.